Some of you might be wondering, how the hell do I know what my capacity is? I work with the Success Codex. Within the Success Codex, there is a capacity gateway. And this is the essence of what your capacity is, how you could gently expand your capacity. And it's asking a different question. It doesn't ask, how could I do more? Even though that's what we really want to know. It's asking, what am I actually able to hold right now? What could I receive? What could I sustain? How could I lead without snapping? What can I grow without disappearing from my own life? And for a lot of people, that question is very uncomfortable. It forces you to slow down and look at the bigger picture. Slowing down could feel like somewhat of a failure when you're used to overfunctioning all the time. When your worth has been tied to your momentum, slowing down could feel irresponsible. It could feel like falling behind. It could feel like everyone else is moving faster and it's only you who needs a break. And if I need a break, what is wrong with me? But when you slow down enough, that pause is usually the most strategic thing you could do. And not because we're romanticizing taking a break, but because a depleted woman who is overfunctioning and in overdrive will make every decision feel urgent. A depleted woman will start questioning things that were not actually the problem. She will burn down a good strategy because she doesn't have the capacity to hold the discomfort of just letting things work. She will change direction too soon, overcomplicate simple things, convince herself that the answer is another pivot when really it's her system is trying to catch up. And that's the part I want you to hear. Sometimes the next level has nothing to do with a new strategy. Sometimes the next level is asking you to slow down enough to understand your capacity and then build your capacity to stay with the strategy you've already chose. Not to abandon it the second your energy dips or something goes wrong. And not to rewrite the entire business because you're low capacity one week and it might be perfectly fine the next. And it's not to confuse tired with wrong. And that one is really important for you to hear. Tired in a quiet moment does not mean something is going wrong. Sometimes it's just your system asking to be cared for a little more before it's able to hold more. It does not mean you're lazy. It does not mean you're in danger. When you understand how your energy is designed to work, you stop treating every type of little friction or challenge or whatever comes up as a personal failure. You stop assuming you need to perform the same way every day. You stop assuming that consistency means constant output. You stop assuming the only way to lead is to push harder. When you understand your capacity and what you're capable in this moment, not forever, in this moment, what you're capable of doing, you start asking better questions. Am I making this decision from clarity or depletion? Am I changing this because it's actually wrong or because it's uncomfortable? Am I responding to truth or am I reacting to pressure? Do I need a new strategy or do I just need to take a little step back and replenish my capacity? The answer to that question sometimes is just do less today. Close the laptop, let the strategy just breathe on its own. Stop checking what everyone else is doing and stop asking a depleted version of you to make the next big decision, because your next move should not come from depletion just for the sake of pushing through and looking good. It needs to come from capacity. And capacity is quieter. It doesn't always announce itself like urgency does. Urgency is loud. Fix this now. You're falling behind. Change everything. Where capacity says, pause before you decide. You can't keep going like this. Come back tomorrow. And that's the real detox. I want you to start detoxing from this belief that every uncomfortable moment in business requires immediate action, because it does not. Obviously, there are urgent things, but a lot of the time, Nothing is urgent. You've been conditioned to think it needs immediate action. Some moments require more observation. Some require rest or space, or for you to not move until your body is not screaming, go, 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 but it's coming from a place that's a little more grounded and clear. And I know that sounds maybe simpler to some, and it might seem harder to others. But for those that keep choosing to not react, it's a big deal. It's not passive, it is discipline, it's leadership. It's saying, I'm not going to let my depletion run the show anymore. Understanding your capacity is the foundation of your next clean move. Because, yes, that next move matters, and I think we could all agree with that. But the version of you that's making that decision matters 10 times more. The grounded you make a very different decision than the panicked you that is in overdrive. When you're rested and operating from what your capacity is able to hold in that moment, you will see the next best option and you could be able to process it. You'll know the difference between a real pivot and a fear response. And that's the kind of leadership I care about. Not from performance, but the type of leadership that allows you to pause long enough to see what the best next move is. So maybe the next time the energy drops, something's not going quite as you had hoped. Don't immediately ask, what do I need to change? Instead, ask yourself, am I trying to fix my strategy, or am I trying to ignore what my capacity is asking me to notice? That might be the whole thing. You might not need a new offer, a new niche, to hire someone new. You may not even need to burn the whole plan down. You just need to stop treating your capacity like it's a reflection of your ambition. Your capacity is not behind because you're failing. Your capacity is behind because you have been asking it to hold more without giving it the structure, the space, or the support to expand. That is your growth edge. Not doing more, holding more without losing yourself, receiving more without bracing, sustaining more without snapping, growing in a way that your actual life and body can hold. So no, you don't need a new strategy every time your energy drops. You need to stop treating your capacity like an inconvenience. Success that only works when you're overriding yourself is not success that supports you. It's pressure with better branding. And maybe the most strategic thing you could do is not pivot. Maybe it's pause. Maybe it's just to rest. Maybe it's letting your capacity catch up before you add more to your plate. Maybe there's nothing wrong with your strategy. Maybe your current system is just asking you to stop abandoning yourself in order to grow. Until next time, keep rebelling, keep rising.